Got it. Cool. Okay. Got it. Cool. Okay. So yeah, so we're live. So anybody watching this later, welcome to the 3 episode podcast. We were doing a fireside. We haven't had one of these in a while, but we thought that we'd do this because Val is not around this week to lead the 3rd episode of our trio. So we thought we'd do a nice little fireside. We have Jess here, Jess Corr. She's one of our really good friends of the show. She's been on, I don't even know how many times now.
So
a lot
many.
of times. Yeah. So we figured we'd sit down and ask you a couple questions, if that's okay. By
Perfectly
our
fine.
fireside. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna get into it. So I have a couple questions right here. So the first one is, how did you start game streaming? Because I know that you video game stream. We've kind of promoted your stream a couple times, and I've seen it a couple times. So how did you get started? Like, what's the first game?
Oh God, I don't remember what the first game was, but I've always wanted to stream on Twitch. And then the new year, literally like right after New Year's Eve, I found out that my parents had COVID, so I was going to be quarantined. Nothing to do. I said, you know what? Let's start a Twitch channel. I've always wanted to do it. This is the perfect time to do it because I literally had nothing to do. So it was
a COVID decision.
It was a COVID decision.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay. Yeah, so it was one of those, like, I'm stuck in the house, I got nothing to do, let's stream video games kind of thing.
Yeah, let's stream. And I know one of like the first games, actually it was Bloodborne. Bloodborne was the first game I streamed.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I know that goes into, you're really big on horror. We'll get to that in a second, but yeah, you're really big on horror. So what's your favorite video game of all time?
Definitely Fallout 3.
Okay. Yeah, you're a Fallout fan like John is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I've never gotten into them really myself. I played what is it? The Outer Worlds was the closest I've really gotten to like playing a Fallout game all the way through. So yeah. This may be a heavy question or whatever. What do you think is the state of like women in the video game industry right now? Like as far as like streaming and, you know,
we're a minority.
Yeah.
It's really hard being a girl who enjoys video games. Like I actually had an incident recently where I'm big on TikTok too. It's probably one of my bigger platforms, and I found a lot of Fallout creators on there, and someone was like, oh, test your Fallout knowledge, and I was like, what's right up my alley.
Yep.
And it was like going back to like, you know, older Fallout games too, like from the 90s. And I was answering all these questions, and I got a few wrong, I will admit that. And someone commented that I was looking off screen and insinuated that I was like reading the answers off. And I was like, I mean, I wasn't, but you're not going to believe me. Like, I don't expect you to believe me. And It basically turned into, I was just joking, which is a lot of what guys do when girls correct them. So it's really hard being a girl who's really into the video game community because it's so male dominated, and like they don't take what we say seriously. And usually it turns into like, oh, like you're a girl, like how are you going to know this? Or they'll quiz you on your knowledge of the games. And especially the games, like especially the Dark Souls series is specifically male dominated. So when like a girl is like, oh, like I played that game, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, do you though? Well, then what is this character's origin, or what do you do to do this? And it's very male dominated, and you have to like really prove that you know your shit.
I mean, hell, yeah. I can't answer those questions for some of the games that I love. Like, if you ask me like the origin story for some of the characters for games that I love, I can't answer that shit. So, you know, like, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's stupid. It's very stupid. Just assuming that people don't know things. Yeah. No, I'm sorry you have to deal with it. That sucks.
Yeah.
So I know another thing that you love to do is cosplay. I saw it on your Instagram. You do that a lot.
Yes.
So what was the first cosplay you ever did? Like when did you do that? And like what was the first one you ever said, hey, I'm going to try and be this you know what I mean? Like, what was the first?
So I first started cosplaying back in 2013. It was actually my friend Courtney who got me into cosplaying. Because I worked with her. She's actually my roommate. She's actually behind me, because now we live together.
Yep.
But she at work one day was like, "Do you want to go to Boston Comic Con?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to go to Boston Comic Con." Back when it was called Boston Comic Con, now it's Fan Expo. And so that was 2013, and the first character I cosplayed was actually from Fallout New Vegas. It was from a DLC. The character's name is Vera Keys, and I made the costume all by hand.
Yeah, that's the thing that impresses me about cosplay the most. Is it's not like you're going to a shelf and like buying a costume. You're actually sitting there and putting the work into it. So yeah, no, that really impresses me. Like every time I see your cosplay, that impresses me a lot. What's the favorite cosplay you've ever done?
Oh gosh. It's probably my Fallout 4 cosplay. That would have to be my favorite one, just because like I'm like, I do enjoy Fallout 4, but it's not my favorite Fallout. But it's also Fallout. Like I go to Boston. I know I can walk around and be like, I've done this in Fallout, or I can be like, oh wow, my friend lives down this street. Like, so that would have to be my favorite cosplay out of all of them.
Yeah. John says it all the time. He's like, oh look, that place, it's in Fallout.
Yeah.
So is there a cosplay that you've always wanted to do that for some reason that you can't, like the costume's too complicated, or you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Okay. Like what?
It's actually a Dark Souls cosplay, and it's the Artorias the Abyss Walker from Dark Souls 1 and the DLC. I forget what the DLC is technically called. It's from like the Prepare to Die edition, Dark Souls. But he's all armor.
Okay.
And that would just be like a lot of Warbler.
Yeah. A lot of stuff to put together. Probably pretty expensive as far as the materials and stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some of the ones that you see at conventions, you're like, that cost a lot of money, didn't it?
And I've seen people cosplay him too, and they're just like on point all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So the horror movies, what's your favorite horror movie? Because I know you're really into that horror movie stuff, and like, it's not my thing, but
oh gosh,
you're really into that.
It's really hard, like picking a favorite horror movie. I guess I can summarize it into genres: slashers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does that mean exactly? Because
think like, your Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Evil Dead, lots of blood, lots of gore. It's usually like a silly amount, especially like the Evil Dead series, because it's so hard to pick one. But that would be my favorite genre, though I do enjoy the whole array of different genres.
Okay, so on to what's the worst horror movie? Like, what do you not like in the horror genre? Like, is there like a specific section of the horror genre that you're like, that's not my thing?
Horror movies that rely too heavily on jump scares.
Okay.
Like the Paranormal Activity franchise. I've seen, I think, all of them, and like the first one, it was good. I will admit it was good. But then after like the second one, you're heavily relying on jump scares, and the jump scares get the job done, but you can't rely on them too much, because then it just gets boring after a while. Yeah.
Is there when did you start watching horror movies? Is there like a thing there, or?
Actually, funny. So this was years back now. It was just one Halloween where I was over my friend's house, and we were just looking for movies, and all the movies were on sale, like all the horror movies. And my first horror movie I ever watched was Scream.
Okay.
And I don't know what it was, and I was like, wow, that was really cool. So then I started just watching them by myself. And I know a lot of people are like, why do you watch horror movies by yourself? That's so weird. But I find them calming in a way. Weirdly enough, I'm just like, I know.
How?
So I ended up looking it up, because I was like, I can't be the only one who experiences this. And I guess people who experience anxiety, which I have, it's not diagnosed anxiety, but it's anxiety. And it's a controlled environment. I'm controlling the level of scare. I could just shut the movie off. if I get too
Okay.
anxious or if I get too scared. So like horror movies for me, like they're comforting in a way because like I know they're fake and I'm controlling the whole situation.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. What's your favorite non-horror movie?
Ooh, non-horror movie. It's actually a post-apocalyptic movie, The Book of Eli. One of my
Okay.
favorite movies.
That's what's his name that just played in the Suicide Squad. I'm trying. Idris Elba,
No,
right? No,
Denzel Washington and
Denzel
Gary
Washington.
Oldman.
I don't know why I always confuse the two of them. Like whenever they're in movies, it just Denzel Washington movies. I always confuse for Idris Elba, and I don't know why.
That was a good movie, though. The Suicide Squad, loved
it.
it.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed it a lot. Well, it's kind of easy to say that I enjoyed it more than the first one because the first one I turned off like halfway through. I just couldn't continue watching it anymore.
See, I saw the first one twice, both in theaters, and the second time, my friend and I snuck 2 full bottles of wine into the theater.
I guess that's one way to get through it. I don't know. I couldn't watch it. It was just, oh my God, it was so bad. I just didn't enjoy it. This one I enjoyed a lot. I'm gonna watch it again, especially since I can just watch it on HBO. Yeah, no, it was hilarious, and just the action and everything. Like you said, like I can see how someone might say that there's a lot of gore in it because there was, but
definitely.
Yeah, it's an action movie. It's I don't know, it's pretty good. So horror or not, what are 3 movies that you would recommend to anyone that they would have to watch?
Ooh, that's hard.
What's the top 5 on your you have to watch before you die list as far as movies are concerned?
All right, so Phantom of the Paradise.
What is that?
So think Rocky Horror Picture Show and Phantom of the Opera had a baby.
Okay. Okay.
There's a cat underneath me and I just kicked her. I'm sorry, baby. It's a musical. And I actually found it through a YouTuber who also covers like the horror genre. And it's like it's a horror comedy opera.
Okay.
And so I love it. It's kind of like a cult classic now too.
Yeah.
It's held that standard. And it's just a wild ride. It's a trip. That's what it is. So that would be one of them. Horror. It's a newer horror movie. Newer. Hereditary. I'm a big fan of like the A24 films. Hereditary, I thought it was amazing. Not as scary as everyone made it out to be. It was more of a psychological horror than anything else. Like there's obviously like, whoa, you know. I mean, the movie came out forever ago. Like some girl gets decapitated within like the first like half hour of the movie, and you see it. But it's more psychological. The Lighthouse, which is a period piece by A24. It's by the same director as The Witch, and it's with Robert Pattinson and And
yeah, I was gonna say, Robert Pattinson. Yeah, I remember him being in that.
Insane. It's over 2 hours long, and it's madness. There's gonna be a cat walking across, so you will see her. She shut my camera off.
Nice. No respect.
She's still like, I was here first. Yeah. Everything is mine. So that's 3. I'm trying to think of what other movies. Like I don't have a lot of like favorites. But like honestly, any horror movie, really. Like just watch all of the horror movies.
That's a no from me, dog. That's the one genre that I can't. No, I just don't enjoy it when I watch it. Like I understand how people do, but I just don't enjoy it when I watch it. It's I don't know. There's psychological thrillers are a completely different thing. Like Primal Fear. I always go on about Primal Fear. I love Primal Fear so much. I don't know if that really counts as a horror movie, but like those psychological thriller things I love.
It could be like a little sub-genre, like off of it.
I love like the puzzle, like Amber and I are currently going through the original CSI, like that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of gore and like not jump stuff, but like there's a lot of that stuff, but it's like scientific, like figuring out the puzzle kind of thing. Like if there's a puzzle, if there's something to figure out, like I'll watch that. But if it's just about like killing people, not my thing, but
Saw has puzzles.
I love the first two Saws. I love, and then it just starts getting like I'll watch them, but it just starts getting kind of ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I've watched the first 5, so I have like I think 6, 7. I think
Jigsaw. And then the new one that just came out that has Chris Rock in it, right?
I watched a review on it because a lot of people are like it's awful, and I'm like I get that. If you're making like 8+ movies in a franchise, it's just gonna go downhill eventually.
Yeah, but they signed on like big actors for it, thinking like, oh, we're gonna revive it, and then yeah, I saw reviews that people are like, no, don't watch it. It's really bad.
I mean, because I'm at the point like I don't know what happens, in 6, 7, but I'm at the point where Jigsaw's dead, Amanda's dead. Like, who's gonna take on the mantle of Jigsaw?
Yeah, and eventually it's like this stuff is old. Like, how are you still getting away with this shit? Like, people should know about this by now.
Like, everyone knows he makes traps, so like there's gonna be people who can escape them.
Yeah. Okay, so the rest of the ones that I have are just like random podcast questions. They're just gonna be like random open-ended questions, I guess. So the first one is, what do people misunderstand about you the most?
Oh God. I don't know.
Sorry, I got these questions off of like a podcast question thing, and I was like, oh, those are good questions. I gotta ask because
I don't know. I feel like there's definitely been people when I tell them like what I'm into, like video games and all that stuff, they don't expect me to be into that type of stuff. Or like when I'm like, oh, I do cosplay, like I dress up for fun. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, don't you? But like a lot of people don't expect me to have the interest that I do. And I don't know if that's because I'm a girl or if I just give off this different vibe. Or like
I think that's girls in general. It's like for some reason society doesn't expect like girls to like guy things or guys to like girl things still. And it's really interesting because you would think that we would be past that point by now. Like our society should be to a point that shouldn't be a thing anymore. But there's still people that just make the assumption that you're a girl, you should like ABC, and you're a guy and you should like ABC. And it's just it's really frustrating for the people who are like, no, that's not how it should be anymore.
No, don't you know? We still are trying to respect gender norms. And it's like, it's 2021. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Be who you want to be. Why does it matter to anybody else who you are? Yeah. It's really annoying. Yeah. It's okay. We could literally go on another hour about that subject, but that's a society thing that, God, that frustrates the hell out of me. Yeah. Okay, so if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Ooh. I don't know. If I could be remembered for one thing. Maybe just like leaving a positive impact on people. I try to like, especially like with my jobs and my work, I always try to leave that like little positive impact on people. So I hope that's what I would be remembered for.
Okay. So just being like a nice person, like Okay. Makes sense. Sorry, these earbuds are annoying. What has been your favorite job you've ever held and why?
My most recent job, actually. So recently I was working at Cardinal Cushing Centers, which is a school for those individuals on the autism spectrum, as well as experiencing other intellectual disabilities. And that by far has been one of the best work experiences I've ever had. It's so rewarding. Like I've had a lot of stuff happen. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I was grabbed. I was called every profanity in the book. I was told to go die. But it's just working with the children and just seeing seeing them improve over time. Because I was only there for a short time. Seeing them improve in that short time I was there just made it all worth it.
Yeah, and it's not like the stuff that you mentioned. It's not like they can really not control it, but like it's kind of at that point it's kind of out of their hands a little bit. It's not something. It's just something that comes with that territory that you have to kind of be hardened to. You can't really take personally. So.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah. Okay. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
Germany.
Okay, that was a fast answer. Why?
So back in college, I actually studied World War II, specifically like, Germany and all the stuff that they did, and, researching the history and like what happened, and then seeing pictures of Germany. I was like, that's actually very gorgeous. It's a very beautiful country.
Okay.
So that's definitely a place I would love to like live.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. So if you won $10 million tomorrow, what would you do with it?
I would pay off my student loans.
And that is a sad answer, but a very truthful answer that I echo as well at the same time. So, yeah, I felt that answer.
Oh yeah, I would pay off those loans.
Yeah, no, yeah, wow, that hurt. I felt that. Okay, so out of all the interests that you have, if you could start a business tomorrow, what would it be doing?
It'd probably be something like video game oriented. Like I've always had this idea of having like a small business and having it be based around like video game and like video game franchises I like. I don't know what that small business would be. I'm trying to block the kitty cat right now. But I don't know what it would be like, because I've always wanted to have a small business, but I don't know what I would make or do, but I would want it to be something centered around video games.
Okay. So like a product or something that would
Yeah.
video games, or would you ever think about like getting into code and actually trying to make video games?
That would be really interesting.
I can tell you from experience that the coding is difficult. So
I recently had to get Fallout 3 to run on my laptop, because apparently Fallout 3 doesn't like to run on anything after Windows 7. I had to like go into the actual code of the game and like mess with it. Like I spent hours, like 2+ hours trying to fix this game, and I had to go into the code and like take stuff out and add it in, and I felt so smart afterwards.
Welcome to IT, Jess.
I was like, I don't know how people do this, and they're just like, oh yeah, you just do that. And I'm like, well, I don't.
Okay. So it looks like we've been invaded. So I have one more question to ask.
Hello.
So Jess, my one last weird podcasting question is, what is the most important lesson you've ever learned in life? Like up to this point in life?
Don't care what other people have to say about you.
Nice.
There was like a period of time where every negative comment I would get on social media, like I would take it to heart. And honestly, who gives a fuck what other people think about you, because they don't really know you. So just
I like it.
Do your own thing, and who cares what other people have to say about it.
Very cool. That's a good lesson. Do you have any questions, John? I wasn't expecting you this early.
You better believe I do. Of course I popped in.
We're literally sitting by this nice fire having an interview, and John just pulls up a chair, and you hear like,
hold on.
You hear the legs just like scraping against the wood, and he just like plops it down next to us.
It's literally the same.
I've been here the whole time.
Oh, Brian.
That's who the kinky couple is.
Only one of them, though. Hey, Jess. Important question. Would you rather have a cat with a human face or a dog with human hands?
Cat with a human face.
Oh, God, that's awful. Why would you do that to us?
Have you ever seen What We Do in the Shadows, the original movie?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
The guy with the cat, he turns into the cat, but he can never get the face right.
Yep.
I'm just picturing little Bub now.
Yeah. Oh God. And now you've reminded me that season 3 comes out in like a week or two. Like
they've already on season 3.
Yep. Yeah, you haven't.
That's insane. I've only seen season 1.
Oh,
I'm like really far behind.
Oh God, it gets funnier and funnier, and season 3 looks like it's going to be even better.
I love the movie. That's another movie. If I have to recommend a movie, the original What We Do in the Shadows. I love Taika Waititi. I always pronounce his name wrong. I love him. He's hilarious.
Taika, that's how you spell RC, because it works out pretty well.
Yeah, no, but season 3 is coming out soon, so you need to catch up because season 2 is amazing, and season 3 looks like it's going to be even better. If you like the movie, then the show, because the characters, especially in season 2, characters from the movie show up, like the original vampires show up as part of the Vampire Council. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So so it's like set in this. You could tell it's set in the same universe and stuff. Which
for
a comedy show doesn't matter. We're talking about like comic book things set in the same universe. Shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's all I had. John, do you have anything more or?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh-wee, here comes the Hey, Jess.
Yeah.
Could you please, for the audience at home, all of our viewers who enjoy your horror genres, yes, Noelle, I know you wanted to answer this question too. Could you please rank the Evil Dead series?
Oh.
And I need you to explain your reasoning as to why Army of Darkness is not number 1.
I do enjoy Army of Darkness, but
it's the best one, so it's number 1.
Number 2. Okay, I'd have to go number 2. Army of Darkness, then Evil Dead.
And fuck the remakes. Right, Noelle.
I enjoyed the remake. Actually, I saw before I saw the originals. So the way I saw the Evil Dead movies were Evil Dead the remake. It was Evil Dead the remake, Evil 2, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead, and then the show.
Justin, you're burning us out.
What?
You're burning us out, buddy. That fire is roaring.
Oh.
Thank you, kind sir. These are the fun things people don't tell you about podcasting, is that you try to learn things on the fly. Hey, Jess, what's your favorite Rammstein song?
Mein Tal.
Hey, wait, really? That's not usually somebody's favorite. I'm surprised by that.
I like the case that it's based off of because it's really messed up.
Okay, that's fair. Hey, Jess, at what age did you realize that you were attracted to the lead singer of Rammstein?
When I first discovered Rammstein, which was probably back in high school.
So when both Ryan and I also fell in love with Rammstein, got it.
Till leader man.
Yes, Noelle, I know. You want me to ask all the questions. Noelle wants to know when you're going to come meet her, because she's very sad that she hasn't met her auntie yet.
I mean, hey, I'm available all week after tomorrow. I have another class tomorrow.
Oh, you're in class?
For my new job.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
What's the new job?
It's actually working with Key Autism Services located in Boston. And so the job would actually be an assistant behavioral technician. So what I would do is I would go into the homes of, it's younger, so they do early intervention. And I would be working in the homes of young children who deal with autism spectrum, probably other intellectual disabilities, because that's usually what comes with autism. And I would be helping work on their behavioral plan. So individuals who have autism, they usually have either in the school setting, it's an IEP, so education goals, or in the home setting. Even in the education, they still have a behavioral plan, but more so in the home, they have a behavioral plan. And so it would be just working on that and also working on their daily living goals as well. So like brushing teeth, showering, washing their hands. So depending on the level of intellectual ability with the individual is how their behavioral plan would be based off of. So it's basically just helping them gain the independence and preparing them for the real world.
Okay.
Hey, Justin, did you ask that one question I told you to ask her? I tuned in late, unfortunately.
Which question?
Probably
not.
I'll ask it now. Hey, Jess, how does it feel knowing that you're technically kind of just a guest that we have occasionally, but you've gotten a Fireside before Val did?
You mean the question that makes me feel bad? That's the question you wanted me to ask? The one that I told you makes me feel bad?
Yep.
Thanks, John.
That's why I did it for you. I'm the asshole now.
I mean, I feel special.
I'll say the asshole back.
But I do miss that she can't be on the podcast.
Only tonight.
Yeah. Only tonight. Is she going to be back next week?
Yeah, she's in rural North Carolina, so she has like no service, no internet.
Oh, wow. She posted something,
banjos
some type of
everywhere.
food that looked bomb.
Oh, like I think it was like a Botrole. It was like octopus.
Octopus, yeah, I love octopus.
Okay, so that's all the questions I had. And
I'm gonna let that one lie. I'm sure Ryan's got it swirling in his head at the moment, but
What?
Nothing at all.
I got distracted.
They're perfect. Let's keep it that way.
that's fine. So
We
let's
turn this from a fireside into a full-on podcast episode.
we are going to pause for a few minutes, and then when we come back, we will be playing some not video games, some games, and yeah, so it'll be fun.